What's up, everybody?
Yeah, good evening. We had some good weather here lately.
We did have some good weather.
It's been we had a little cold snap, but it's the last few weeks. That's one thing I can't get over is how nice the weather has been.
The weather's been awesome, and that's what we were planting a lot of cauliflower, cabbage, the lettuce. We've been out at the farm store trying to get everything ready.
Yep. No, it's that time of year. I planted a little bit in my garden, but we got a cool guest episode again this week. But before that, we want to talk about a sponsor.
Yep. Yeah, to give a shout out to Ag Zaga, as always, our favorite online ag store. And it's out of Missouri. We've had our buddy on here. Actually, similar names. I was going to say he's Jared. We got Jarrett on the podcast with us tonight.
Yep.
But Ag Zaga, go check them out. Use code TALKDIRT, all caps, all one word. Get your bale wrap. Get anything else you need. Still got the free shipping. I guess, like
Matt,
I said,
I'm pretty sure they're just going to leave the free shipping along with the 10% off. But yeah, the bale net wrap's going to be the big thing over these next few months. As baling season is bearing down on us. Also, of course, the new fair peas. We're actually going to get in some new calves. Oh gosh, sometime here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if we can afford them. Cattle market's hot right now.
it is.
But yeah, we'll be treating them all with fair peas. Check that out. That's the new product they've got. But yeah, use that discount code. Tell them we sent you.
That's right. Well, guys, we want to welcome Jarrett Sitton, aka Gate Bart, to the show. What's going on?
How's it going,
Jared? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Man, we're pumped to get you on, man. We've been tracking what y'all do over there for a long time now, and I think which Bobby Lee actually he caught you. He's better at he actually listens to podcasts good. I'm not real great at listening to other podcasts, but he actually caught you on Shark Farmer.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Was that last summer?
Yeah, last summer I did his podcast. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
which I had been familiar with you through, I guess mainly through Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, but of course I see y'all's videos on there all the time. And for those people that don't know, I guess tell us a little bit about the Didier Ranch and all what y'all do on social media.
So it started with my cousin Gatlin. A lot of people know Daryl Bibbins and his grandma, Granny Bibbins. And we call her Grandma K, but TikTok and Instagram know her as Granny Bibbins. And it started like 2019 or so. And me and him, he was making videos. He was living out in California and he was doing stuff. And I'd go help him. I'd be his cameraman. I'd get in some videos with him and stuff. And then I think it was 2021, he created Daryl. And he started doing his farm stuff with Daryl videos, and that's where it really took off.
Yep.
And that's how my character, Gate Bart, got introduced, was one of the farm stuff with Daryl videos, and I was the gate bitch riding shotgun. Yeah. And so then we had to change my name to Gate Bart because I didn't want to be called that all the time. And we have a lot of younger fans too. So
Yeah, you kind of limit yourself on your audience. Yeah,
that's all right.
You go mainstream now.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know if mainstream would accept us.
No, that's what I was going to say. Yep, I have honestly never been to California. Vegas is as close as I've ever gotten, and which we got. You don't see a ton of blue hairs here. We're in West Tennessee, so we don't have them a lot here, but you do see one occasionally. And that's what I love here lately. I've had several of the blue hairs coming to the farm.
Oh yeah,
and I love them. Which I was having to explain to my wife because we went out to our farm store a couple of days ago, and I got a wire up, and she goes, "I'll get out and get the wire." And I was like, "That's what I got you here for, so you can open that." And I told her, I said, we're having Gate Bart on the show. And she's like, what does that mean? And I said, he's the guy that has to get the gates.
Yeah. Which is funny is very rarely anymore in any of our videos am I going to get gates.
Yeah. That is true. Point, that is true. Which I do hate opening gates.
Yeah. Well, that's why I had kids.
Yeah.
Mine are just, even my youngest is now, he's good enough. He can, even if it's got a padlock on it, I'll give him the right key and he's good to go. So,
which is funny is off the camera, I actually get more gates when we're driving to go film something somewhere. I actually do have to get out and go get the padlock and open the gate up, and
Really?
we drive through. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'd probably do it more off camera than on camera these days.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's, man, it's pretty wild, the whole social media world we live in. Like, I mean, both of us, one with this show, and we each kind of do our own YouTube thing, and involved on Instagram and all that stuff. And man, the thing that just gets me more than anything, and I kind of enjoy poking the bear sometimes. So I'll put out some memes or something just to rile them up a little bit, because I used to would argue with them. Like, I would put out a post and try to explain something, like really, try to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But they don't have a conversation.
Yeah, sometimes it's like arguing with a brick wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
90% of the time. And we're like the dumb farmers. That's kind of the way they see it. And they've watched a documentary film one time on YouTube, and now they're experts on what we do for a living.
Oh, yeah. Like I heard, I think in one of your last podcasts where y'all mentioning where, was it Mike Bloomberg talked about you put it in the ground and it comes up.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that's all it takes.
Yeah, he said that when he was running for president?
Yeah. He was trying to get the Democratic nominee.
Yeah, man. But unfortunately, that is the perception.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of what people think.
Oh yeah, we're simpletons. We just simple life. It's anybody can do this. It's just we do it because we can't do anything else, kind of thing.
Yeah, not smart enough to do nothing else in big city jobs.
That's right. Yeah. So tell us a little bit, man. So how long have you been involved on the ranch? And I mean, is that something you've always been a part of? I mean, give us a little bit of rundown on that.
Yeah. So back when I was in like high school, I would go up because the ranch is actually in Fay. It's Didier Ranch, and it's Gatlin. It's his dad's side of the family, and I'm related on his mom's side of the family. My dad, and his mom, so we're first cousins.
Yeah,
and so like Granny Bibbins, she's his grandma, but not really my grandma.
Gotcha.
But she's adopted me by now. But I've spent many summers up there being the gate bee and hauling hay and Granny. She always had a deal for like mustafils. I don't know how you say it. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Like those pokey weeds out in the field.
Okay,
I don't know if y'all get those up there.
Is it like bull metal or bull? What do they call them?
I think it's different. I don't think we have them here.
We would drive around the pasture if we didn't have nothing else to do. If we were just to kill time, we would go around the pasture and we'd take old feed sacks and we'd pull them suckers. And we had a golf cart and we'd pull them, and then we'd always have some red ant killer. Anytime she see the red ant den, she'd pull over. Stop! We got to kill those ants. Even if it's on the side of the road.
Is that the big like velvet ant?
Just the red ants. Yeah, fire ants.
Yeah. Man, I was going to say, we got some of those, what do they call it? Cow killers.
Yeah. The big orange.
The big, huge ones. I've never been stung by one, but I watched Cody Peterson get stung by one. It looked pretty terrible. Yeah, well, man, that's funny. It's real similar. I mean, we're first cousins. And that's how, I mean, both raised up in the farming world. And, but man, I'm really interested too in the filming side. Is that something you've always been into as well, like the camera work and all that?
Well, it's funny. Is like when I was in high school, my senior year, we got like a drama class, and we did plays and stuff. And some of my friends made fun of me, but I loved doing it. It was fun. I went to competitions where I did like it was called Humorous Interp, and I did a skit where I was, I think, 5 or 6 different dogs in a dog pound.
Yeah.
And I had to do like different voices for them and stuff. And I was pretty good at it, except for it conflicted with baseball. And so I ended up playing baseball when I could have been going to state and that. And so I've always been, involved in that kind of stuff. And then Gatlin, he went to OU for journalism and like video recording and stuff. So he learned how to do a bunch of that stuff there. And he's always kind of been the one to do all that stuff. And then last year we hired a cameraman on, and he's one of our buddies who had already kind of been involved in some of that stuff. And so he took on all that stuff from Gatlin to take a bunch off of his plate, because for a while it was just me, Gatlin, and a tripod. and we'd pull Granny out there, and then we'd
yeah.
film. Me and him do like all the writing for our stuff,
Yeah.
and then we go film it, and then now our buddy Connor, he does all the editing and stuff for us, so that helps a lot.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We always talk about that's the worst part is having to go back.
Yeah,
You've been doing this stuff all day.
I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
I hate
Upload, edit,
You know,
hate that part.
or download and upload. Yeah, I don't know all the technical terms.
Me and Granny, we're the talent.
The talent.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gatlin runs the show. Like, he does all of everything pretty much, and I just show up because I have a full-time job outside of that. I still work at UPS, so that's why I was driving a brown truck earlier today, delivering those boxes and stuff. But so I don't have time to do any of that stuff. But maybe eventually, if our stuff starts going well enough that I can take this on as a full-time job. That's my initial goal.
Yeah.
Well, so y'all are in Western Oklahoma?
Yeah. Do you know where Weatherford is? Straight shot on I-40, about 50 miles west of Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And then the farm is up north of Weatherford.
Okay.
It's a little tiny town of 40 or 50 people, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's I got to ask you, it's kind of funny on the drama stuff, because I was actually into the drama stuff. And, which I went to a tiny school. We both went to Rosemark, and it was a small private school. And so everybody in there did a little bit of everything. People played football. They also did drama. Like, I've talked to some people, and they'll be like, "You did drama? What a nerd!" Like, make fun of you. And they're like, "I was too busy playing baseball." And I'm like, dude, there was people that did all of it. And
exactly.
So, but dude, I enjoyed it, and I had an agent when I got out of high school. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
Really?
And so that's why I was asking. I'm like, it's funny when I hear other guys that are also in the ag sector that are like, I kind of wanted to give that a run for its money.
Yeah, that's what Gatlin was out in California. He met his wife out there, and he moved out there, and he was going to auditions and stuff. And then COVID hit, and all that shut down, so he started doing his YouTube videos. And that's where I came in to do videos with him, and then TikTok started, became a whole thing, and now we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're all over the place. In case they ban TikTok, we've still got a few other places to go.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that's going to pan out. I saw like Congress, I guess, passed it, but I don't understand what really is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we talked about that in our pasture conversation this last Sunday.
Yeah.
And Gatlin, he asked me, he said, if you have one question, because I guess TikTok reached out to him and wants to send him to go talk to some of like the congressmen and stuff. And he asked me if there was a question that I would want to ask them, what would that be? And I told him, why now?
Yeah.
There's a big election coming up, and I think they're afraid that people are going to be saying stuff on there that they don't want people to hear. Yeah.
The kind of, which I don't know, if you listen to a podcast or two of ours, and I feel like in watching some of y'all's content lately, I don't trust.
We're a little bit rebels.
Yeah. I love my country. I don't trust my government at all.
Yes,
I'm right there with you. Love America.
So,
don't know about the government.
Yep.
I mean, it's been proven time and time again, especially since the 2020 election, how big tech, just like big pharma, they're all controlled by the government, or vice versa. They're controlling the government, whichever way you want to look at it. And so, you look at the platforms, all the other ones we've mentioned, and I feel like our government has a pretty tight control on that. And then you got this platform that's Chinese owned, which they do a great job of like, China's bad, and less, but so part of me, I'm like, all right, so if all of a sudden they're wanting to ban this, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
Well, did you see
there's always some.
Did y'all see where like Nancy Pelosi, I think Dan Crenshaw, several of these politicians all like sold their stock or something, and they apparently own some stock in like Meta or TikTok or something, and they sold like all of it right before this ban. Like they do all that insider trading, which is supposed to be illegal, but they all do it, and that's how they're all rich as hell off of doing it.
Oh yeah, if you just follow Nancy Pelosi stock trading, you'd probably be a millionaire pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Any of them, but it's
Yeah.
like if professional athletes can't gamble on their sport, why
Yeah.
are politicians allowed to basically gamble on
Gamble, on stuff that has to affect the everyday man too.
They're writing policy that directly affects the markets, and they're playing those same markets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we try to get a lot of that across in our content too.
Yeah,
and that's why we've really been pushing our rebel stuff. Lately, about being a rebel and going against like the woke stuff and just everything being pushed on society these days. We're being a rebel against it and being more traditional and getting back to the God, family, country values that we always expose in our content.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if y'all made a conscious decision on it, but it seems like, I don't know, maybe the last 6 months or so, I've noticed y'all have really kind of had more of that type of edge to your content. I was like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of started with Riley Gaines. Do you know her?
Yes.
She was a Kentucky swimmer. Yeah. And it started, did you see where she got like trapped into that room at some college? I think in San Francisco or something last year.
Because the protesters.
Yeah. And she started speaking out against stuff. And we just saw like how crazy it is, and
people want to act like that's normal. Like, no, this is normal. This is totally normal. Totally normal.
Yeah.
No, and so we decided we were going to make a turn in our content and take the filter away pretty much. And just speak the truth. We have a following, we believe that God gave us people to see what we have to say. There's people out there, and we're going to use our platform that we have to speak the truth. And we do it in a comedic way. And, we don't always just hit you straight with politics and stuff. We like to talk about the bulls versus the steers,
Oh, yeah.
We kind of cover it, and make it entertaining. So maybe it'll cut through. Like the bulls versus steers video got us in a little bit of trouble with several people.
Really?
Oh yeah. We've got death threats over it.
Oh, damn.
We've lost sponsorship deals because of some of the videos we've done. Wow. Yeah, but it's what we're willing to do, like we've started our own beef. We've got the Didier Ranch beef now.
I've seen that.
And we sell our hats and our shirts and stuff. So we're trying to fund ourselves in certain ways. And we don't like to take on a whole lot of sponsorships, We don't want to be a NASCAR driver with, patches everywhere, but we want to be able to have products to sell for ourselves.
Yeah, well, we've kind of battled that too. Like,
that's what I was going to say. We just recently kind of got, and actually we got a station that listens to our podcast. They'll hear us here. And apparently some of them
we're syndicated, they say.
Syndicated. Yeah. We're on the radio. But some people apparently were offended by some of our language and things we've said. And talking to kind of our marketing team, the guy was like, man, we could pull back a little bit and kind of clean the content, modify what we say, and I just told him, I said, man, the way the show, people are wanting that unfiltered truth and conversation today. Like, I feel like we had so many years of the like clean cut, gotta be by the book, like, don't say anything that's going to step on anybody's toes. And I mean, honestly, man, that was part of our motivation for this show. I mean, the name of it is Talk Dirt to me. We talk about that. Like, it's kind of got that like edge even in the name. Like, it's a play on Talk Dirty to me, obviously. So, I mean, we're like, it's kind of got that edge. We're not trying to be the like squeaky clean. Let's not ruffle any feathers. Like, that's just not our style.
Well, we actually, when they offered that to us, we were kind of like, are they sure they want?
Are you sure?
Because we're not changing. And but yeah, with sponsors too, that's whether it's here or on YouTube, it's like, it's got to be something you believe in, number one. And you don't want to be just peddling every little bit of junk that comes along that because then your endorsement doesn't mean anything too. But
that's true. Dude,
and there are those podcasts you tune into, and it'll be like 7
Every
ads.
5 minutes there's a
Oh.
sponsor break.
Drives me insane, man.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
just
hardly
hit
make
that skip button, skip. They're
Oh,
still
yeah.
doing commercials?
Yeah.
Damn. Skip.
I don't know if those even work because that's what I do. If I find one, I'm listening to it. I just skip it. I skip it until it's
Well,
done.
I have my regular
Yeah.
podcast. I always listen to it, and I like as soon as it goes, I'm like, all right, I know it's 3 minutes of commercials. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was saying, does that even help? Like, I can't even understand how that helps.
well, that's,
Yeah. It's honestly gets annoying, so you're like, I don't even want your product. Now.
Yeah, I'm
like,
not going to
whatever
buy
it
it
is,
just
I'm not
because
going to
of
buy
this.
it. It's getting pushed too much on me.
Yes.
but,
Yeah. Well, speak of the rent, y'all selling your beef now. Is
Yep.
that so? In Tennessee, I'm curious. Is it the same way in Oklahoma? Here in Tennessee, there is so much legal hoopla you got to jump through to sell beef privately. Do y'all have that same issue? Do y'all have to have an inspector on site, like a USDA inspector?
So I know that he did a lot of this last year. Like he started in January. He was like, "Hey, we're going to start doing this by the end of the year," because his dad and his uncle run the operation, and his cousin helps with them.
Yeah.
And so he was working with them, and then he was having to find a place where, like you were saying, it was USDA approved.
Yeah.
And so we have to drive the cattle. I think get processed in Sayre, which is like almost 100 miles away. You know, like it's a ways away. But I met the guy who works there, and he owns the place. It's just his operation. And he's a good family man, godly man. Me and him had a great conversation, kind of like we're having here. We started talking politics and religion, It was just funny as I met him delivering a package to him last week.
Oh, man, there you go.
Yeah. I walked in. I said, "Hey, y'all have any Didier Ranch beef here?" And he goes, "Are you Gate Bart?" I go, "Yeah, that's me." And he goes, "Hey, man, I'm Brian. Nice to meet you."
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of people that you know when you do that?
I have taken many pictures with people in my UPS uniform out
There
here
you
in
go.
Western Oklahoma. I go to this little town called Leedy, and almost everybody in there calls me Gate Bart.
Gate Bart.
Yep.
Dude, that feels cool, don't it?
I mean, it's kind of cool. I walk into the feed store there in town, Gate Bart.
That is better that you took the name Gate Bart instead of
Yeah, I know, right? Could be calling me something a little worse.
That'd be awkward every time you walk in. That'd get old after a while.
Yeah, some women and children be back there looking at something, hear that, like, what in the world?
That's funny.
Well, and everybody loves their UPS driver. So, which of course, we see ours at least once a day at the vet office. And shout out to John if he's listening. I'll tell him.
Hey, John.
John, you got to listen. So
is it Gate John?
Gate Go.
Does he open some gates?
I don't know if he does not. John's a cool dude though. We talk to him all the time.
He voted on. Is he the one that voted on your hair thing?
It was actually our FedEx guy that I know had voted there. So
that's going to be a.
We see them both. We see them both regularly. We see our FedEx guy twice a day because he has to pick up too.
Have we ever mentioned that? So Bobby Lee, we showed you.
Which we're of course right outside of Memphis. So FedEx obviously has a big presence.
Yeah, big spot there.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee's trying to make you feel better now. He's trying to butter you up about using FedEx. No,
they just recently lost a package of mine. FedEx did, so they're kind of on the crap
UPS.
List.
You wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah, we
I
ship our
ordered
Didier
something.
Ranch
I
through
didn't get
UPS.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, look, I'm gonna show you.
Boom! There you go.
I got our box.
Yep.
Actually, for supper tonight, I grilled up some burgers, some steak burgers. Whew, top notch.
That's what I'm planning on tomorrow night.
Man, we got a butcher shop. It's called the Butcher Shop. It's a restaurant. On Fridays, they take their steaks that are left over and they grind them all up and they serve burgers. Have you ever had them?
We never done that.
Man, they are freaking killer. It is awesome.
So that's what we call our burgers steak burgers.
Yeah.
Because we don't get as many cuts out of the cow that we normally would, and so a bunch of that meat that would go into other cuts goes straight into the burgers, into the ground meat, and so we call it a steak burger because it's a higher quality.
Yeah. Do y'all have when you're taking it from getting like processed to the packaging, all that? Do y'all have to transport it in freezer trucks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure right now we're renting a truck and driving over to Sayre and then taking it up to Oklahoma City. And I'm pretty sure, So I'm working all the time. So Gatlin and Connor, they do most of this.
Yeah.
Then so they go pick up after it's processed and they take it back to Gatlin's house. He's got an operation in his garage.
Gotcha.
Hey, every great business started out of a garage.
It did,
There you
man.
go,
It
yeah.
did. Well, I wondered that because then the farm store we're working at, our ultimate goal is to sell fresh beef.
Yeah.
And I want to have the cattle on the farm. I want people to be able to come here and be like, yeah, that cow right there, you know, that'll be a cheeseburger here soon. But, it's crazy some of the stuff you got to go through, man. Like there's a place about 10 miles from where our store is that is going to do probably a lot of my processing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're USDA certified, but I have to pick it up in a USDA certified freezer truck to transport it like 10 miles from there to my store. I mean, it's literally like it wouldn't.
And I'm sure they have to come in and inspect your freezers.
Yeah, they got to be USDA certified freezers.
You don't need a USDA inspector there all the time, but I'm sure they have to like put their stamp of approval on it.
Yeah. How is that? Is the shipping? I know I have shipped like deer meat to some people before, and the shipping costs were insane. Like, how do y'all deal with that?
Well, I'm not really sure. I know we use UPS, so it's probably not cheap.
Yeah.
And we normally try to ship out on Mondays and Tuesdays so it can get there by the end of the week. Because once like Wednesday, Thursday hit, we don't want it to be sitting on a truck over the weekend. Even though we put dry ice in it and stuff, and we pack it really well. We even I don't have one on me, but we have these nice like Didier Ranch totes that it comes in, like a black tote that has like the aluminum kind of looking inside of it.
Yeah,
and that's inside the already insulated box. So they come really nicely packed. But I'm not sure how much it costs to ship them. I'm sure it's not cheap though. You know, it's a 20-30 pound box of meat.
Yeah, that's what. Of course, which we raise our own beef too, so I've never ordered beef, but I've gotten pork a time or two. Shipped in. Yeah, it comes the same way, you know, dry ice and whatnot. We sell all ours because I get questions like that online a lot. You know, hey, how can I get your beef? I'm like, man, we're all local pickup.
Yeah,
you come by.
If you're in the West Tennessee area, it makes sense. If you're not, it doesn't.
Just go to your local butcher.
I shipped JP that I had on other podcasts. Like I don't remember, some deer meat, some ground, and some backstrap. Cost me $120.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. The shipping was crazy. Now that was through the Postal Service, USPS.
Post offices.
So, but it was insane because I had it like frozen and then I had to put like dry ice in there with it. So it was super heavy too. But it was $120.
Yeah. There's a cheaper way to do it.
Yes. Sure. I don't know. And I mean, I think and my postal lady was probably like, oh my gosh. Like when she
she didn't expect that.
Yeah. So I wondered about that, man, because I feel like, dude, stuff like that is kind of the future. I mean, people want to get fresh beef. They want to get fresh, like, produce. That's why we're in the store.
They want to know where it came from, too.
Yep.
Like, that whole, like, you know, and we're talking about it's definitely a niche, and it's certain consumers. But yeah, a lot of people, they want to know the story behind their food, you know, whether it's meat or a vegetable or fruit, whatever.
Yeah, I always like to say that the cows that are in our videos can be on your plate if you order from us.
Yeah.
If you order our beef, literally the cows where you've got in the background of our videos and stuff, those are the cows that we take. Dude, get processed and ship them right to you.
I told Marcy, my wife, I said, when we have the beef there, I said, I want a picture of the cow.
The cow that it was.
We killed it and have it right there and be like, and have even like named it and be like, this was what it liked to do. I mean, it would frolic in this part of the pasture.
What?
Wasn't that PETA that went around and was sticking stickers on the steaks and stuff?
That's what inspired me. That's why I was like, I want to do that, but it's like hamburger meat. Or
of course, people made like memes out of it. They're like, this is like, you know, I guess, is it Coke? It's like, have a Coke with it has a name on it. Like, this is perfect. I would look for one that.
Which one has my name on it?
Yes.
But, I always, we just feed out a few head a year. I've got 9 that are here in the next 3 weeks will all be gone. And, pretty much all to people I know personally. Every now and then I have somebody reach out and, gets on my list that I don't know.
And he has to do it a certain way to sell it.
Oh yeah. So we use a custom, processing facility. So they don't have USDA inspection. So technically I can't sell the meat. I'm selling the animal, but that little loophole.
Bobby Lee's a renegade.
But every now and then somebody, some of my buddies, they'll jokingly text me.
You need to get you a rebel shirt, man.
You do?
No, I absolutely do. They'll text and be like, hey, they're kind of joking. They're like, did this one have a name? I'm like, well, I was like, this was the tag number and we called it this. And then usually, because, maybe they don't watch my YouTube or whatever, but I was like, you can go back through my videos and you'll see him in there.
That's what we had a steer on when we were filming our pasture conversation the other day.
Yeah.
And they got up on us quick. They were surrounding us. Our cameraman, he's over there. He's scaring them over this way and over that way. They're trying to rub up on our camera. There was one, 3078. We named him Steve. And he was all over the place. He tried to nip Gatlin in the butt. I guess he had a dollar hanging out of his pocket, and he come up and about bit him. Oh. Then he was trying to rub on the camera. He was rubbing on the tailgate of the truck. Steve was causing some trouble.
Yeah, I had that one on the TV while we were eating breakfast this morning.
Oh yeah, so you heard. Well, I put
y'all were right after the Peter Flash.
No, not. I took a picture of him, and I said a future pocket burger.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
dude, that. Man, it's funny. I mean, actually this week my little calf died.
Oh no.
I had a bottle calf that I'd gotten, and I still don't. Something was obviously going on with him. His mother was there. She was with him. She had milk and everything. And
he was just really small and weak. He was probably premature.
That's what we figured. He was preemie. His legs, even we called him Forrest because his front legs were real bowed. They were not neat. So my buddy Derek, his wife was like, "Oh, he's like Forrest Gump. He needs some braces on his legs." So I was calling him Forrest.
Yeah,
and it's a weird thing, man. Like honestly, it is raising cattle because I've had some bulls that Bobby Lee fed one out for me. I fed one out like a year ago or something. I raised these. They were actually both bottle bulls that I had raised and became good size. Got them processed. And honestly, man, I wasn't like sad and tore up about it. It is what it is. But man, it bums me out. You lose a calf or something like that, and it's it bums you out. You're sad.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that like PETA and them, they can't understand because they're like,
not at all.
Yep.
They think did you see Gatlin's video of him eating the steak where it's all red?
Oh,
he's like, what vegans think we're eating? He's like,
yes.
And then he's like, reality. He's like, that's good steak. Just like a normal person.
Yeah.
That's kind of exactly what you're saying right there. It's like
it is, man.
This idea that like farmers and stuff are torturing animals. Well, no, they care about their animals.
Oh yeah,
that's what frustrates the crap out of me. They act like we're like destroying and beating our animals.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know. I feel like I turned 40 last year, and I feel like I'm more aware of my mortality now, and not to turn things too dark, but like we're all going to die one day, whether we're a human, an animal, whatever. And I mean, obviously, we all know, and most of the general public does. Like when an animal dies in the wild, it's not a peaceful.
Oh yeah,
there may be a rare instance where it is. We're
buzzards in
the
butthole or eyes out.
While it's not even quite dead. I mean, like these steers that I'm feeding out right now, like they were on pasture their entire life until these last like 3 months, and now they're in the barn, or they can get in a barn anytime they want to if it's raining. They're the only cows on the farm that can come in out of the rain. They got, all the grain in front of them they can stand to eat.
Yeah.
Water right there, just a few steps. I mean, and there is a part of me that's like, but at the same time, if they're going to die one day, what better way to respect that animal than to say, well, all right, you're going to provide for, multiple families or multiple people for the next year. I mean, it's like our time, we're all, only here for a little while. So
I'm waiting
God
for,
gave
like,
us dominion over the animals. I mean,
He did.
it's right there in
I mean,
Genesis.
exactly.
if YouTube and them wouldn't copyright strike us, I would be wanting to play some "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas right now in the background.
Yeah.
I feel like you were giving like the Will Ferrell speech.
What's, and I blame a lot of it on, I turned 40 and I'm like, I'm just
Got
waiting,
one foot in the grave, man.
waiting to die. No. Oh,
Well, I turned 30 this year, so
oh man. Yeah, I
Dang.
do feel old.
Dang, yeah, because I'm 33. Well, I'll be 33. I don't know. I actually have to figure it up.
You got a little over a month.
Yeah,
You're
so
doing
I can
some
start
math.
playing. Yeah, I gotta
Month
do
and
the
a half,
math
yeah.
at this point. But so now you got kids, kid or kids? How many children you got?
I've got a boy and a girl,
All
and
right.
the boy he'll turn 2 this year, and my girl she's almost 2 months old. So,
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's why I said I had to come out to the garage.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
no.
understand.
It's wild.
Well, when you said that, I was like, that's what he meant. Like,
Yep. Mainly the one, the boy. He's running around screaming and stuff, and
I know.
then the baby she cries, when she gets hungry. But the boy, he's a little rascal. He's a mini me, is what my wife said.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we know where we've each got one of each.
Yeah.
Which Logan, he knocked it out in one try.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
you had
twin boy.
twins?
Yeah,
Yeah.
twin boy, girl. I mean,
Nice.
our buddy Tim DeSalvo, he's like, Logan, I didn't know you had it in you. And I'm like, yeah,
I've got
I didn't
a
either.
car seat right here behind me too.
I
Or a
see that.
stroller.
Yep. Got the good decor back there. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you like my garage?
Yep. Yep.
It's very well organized. I will give
Yeah,
you
yours is probably.
You can't see it all.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. And man, the farm stuff, that's one thing, man. Speaking of kids, honestly, I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather raise my kids. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot of elements we talk about on the farm. Some of the truths, just a lot of the stress and things that come with it. Man, at the same time, like I just can't think of anywhere else I'd want my kids to be. And I'm sure you're the same way. And
Yeah.
it's funny talking about Gatlin, like going to California, and me talking about like I always loved the idea of working on films. I just could never. California and I wouldn't jive. That just
Yeah.
ain't the scene.
Yeah, I've been out there to visit him a few times. It was an all right place to visit, but not a place I'd want to hang my hat.
Yeah, yeah. How did y'all? Was this something like? I'm kind of curious on the actual start of the ag videos. Like, what kind of inspired that aspect of it? Like, what made y'all say, you know what? Did y'all see something that was missing, and you were like, this is a spot we could jump in?
Yeah, Gatlin led the way. He really wanted to showcase the way of life that he grew up in with his dad and his uncle and his grandpa. I think he's like third or fourth generation on that
Yeah.
land where they're at. I could be wrong. I know at least his grandpa and maybe his dad before him have been there. So it's been in his family forever. And even my dad used to work for a farmer, growing up in small town out here. And so it's just always been around, it's just a part of life out here. And we wanted to showcase that. And we noticed something we noticed early on was a lot of the people in kind of the YouTube, like everybody is just like filming themselves driving tractors and stuff.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something a little different. And so we created our characters. And so we live in this is funny. Sometimes people comment on our videos. I just love how real you guys are. I play a guy named Gate Bart. I'm acting,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, when you run with that blue hair, we just know it fits you so well.
Just so real. That's what Gatlin has told me. He said, I think you like wearing that blue hair a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to act like that.
Yeah, man. I'm sure it's liberating,
Yeah, very liberating.
Yeah. Dude, that is where I find myself a lot, because that's like Bobby Lee and I feel like Bobby Lee knocked that out of the park on the YouTube. He got in on the cattle stuff, and he goes into a lot of detail on the cattle and answers a ton of people's questions. And I'm a row crop guy, and I've got my YouTube channel, and like I still don't know how, like I'm still trying to find what do I want my channel to be really, because there's parts of me that's like I want that cinematic thing going because I do the GoPro thing, but I feel like there's a lot of row crop guys doing that. So it's like, how do I separate myself? How do I stand out?
Yeah, not be the same as everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing we've tried to do from the get go. We don't want to be called. We're not influencers. Like a lot of these kids, they're Western or whatever, and they just pick up their phone and they just talk into it and stuff. We don't hardly ever do anything like that. Like I said earlier, me and Gatlin, we'll script out our videos. We're like, okay, hey, what's in the news this week? What's going on in the world? What's something we want to talk about? And how do we fit that onto our farm?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the basis of where we come up with most of our content. And we try to hit trends and stuff sometimes too, if there's something going on. But mainly we love to do our original content. Like y'all were talking about earlier, like we made a turn and we really have been pushing the pedal to the floor on our original content because there's always something happening. There's
it is
something in the news every week.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, hey, what are we going to do this week?
This will be a good year. Being an election year, I feel like you ought to get a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah. The challenge will be getting it done before the whole news cycle's moved on to the next thing. It's like, all right, we got like a 48-hour window. We got to get this one done. Get out there or everything's moved on and nobody will even get the joke, kind of thing.
Yeah, and the problem is we're only getting to film like once a week because I'm driving 5 days a week at UPS right now. And so on Saturdays we go film. We got to write everything, get it filmed, and we do our pasture conversations that day. That takes almost an hour.
Yeah.
And then we've got families, that we want to see. So it's a lot out of our time, but I think it's worth it, what we're trying to accomplish and our message of God, family, country. And like I said, we want to put the truth out there. God gave us a platform and we don't want to squander it.
Well, y'all do it really well by, I think, the humor kind of aspect of it. To me, that actually helps get it a greater reach. Because, I mean, look, there's going to be people that are going to be triggered. That just comes with the territory. When you're saying stuff, I mean, Bobby Lee and I pissed people. We had a woman chastising, the woman that was chastising Brandon for what he said about Reba.
Oh, yeah. It was a commenter on Instagram.
It is just goofy, man. And like, I get it all the time on Instagram. But dude, I mean, I feel like if you're speaking the truths, it's going to happen. It's kind of like if nobody's saying anything at all about what you're doing, you're probably not really doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah. It's, and well, you can say it a lot of different ways. You're making content for everybody. You're not making content for anybody. And yeah, it's, if you're not getting any sort of commentary and feedback, you're very vanilla.
Yeah.
And so
we normally get plenty of feedback. I would say it's probably about 70-30 good feedback though.
Yeah.
Well, which I've never really of course some videos you're like, oh, I got to go read the comments to this. I've never really, gone down the rabbit hole of y'all's comments. Is y'all's philosophy just if there's a hater, somebody just ignore them, or do you respond, or what's your typical philosophy there?
Okay, well, I'm pretty good at not paying attention to the comments myself.
There you go.
I'll read them, and I'll like a few, 3 or 4. I might comment back on 1 or 2, but not even on every video. Maybe just every 2 or 3, I might hit one. But Gatlin, sometimes he'll get in there, especially on Facebook. Facebook is the worst for comments, I would say.
Yeah.
Just some people are holier than thou, They're going to pick up that stone and throw it. They don't care.
I'm YouTube and Instagram, and that's it.
Facebook actually is worse, I think, than when my trailer broke in half. I had a grain trailer break in half last harvest season, and I put it out. I put a YouTube video up of it. It did great, by the way. Wreck and destruction is great on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Beast does all the time. And
it is, man. Well, it did great, but man, the people that came out of the woodworks hating on me on Facebook was by far the most. Like Instagram, I had a few. TikTok, I had a few, but but freaking Facebook, it was relentless.
Oh,
And I don't know why.
I know. Hey, it's something about that crowd. It's kind of funny. Do you think so? I think over all of our platforms, we have around 5 million followers between our separate accounts, and it's like a different crowd on every platform.
It is.
There's the Facebook crowd, the YouTube crowd, Instagram, and TikTok. There's even some videos we'll post on TikTok, but not post them on Facebook, just because we already know it's gonna be a bloodbath on Facebook. Let's just put it that way.
Do you see more of an older crowd on Facebook? The people that get mad at me are old people on Facebook.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, I guess because that's kind of the original. If you don't count like MySpace, like the original social media.
Is MySpace still around?
I don't think it is. I
gotta look.
That's a good question.
Maybe that can be our niche. Like,
we're gonna bring MySpace back.
We'll be big on MySpace.
Yeah. We're gonna
got
bring
all
it
5
back.
people left on there.
Yeah.
Tom following you.
Yep, with his white shirt, man.
Yep.
Let me see. MySpace.com. Dude, it's still there. You can sign in. They've even revamped it, man. It looks pretty fancy.
Wow.
I don't know.
I remember you used to get on people's pages and music, and they had like a playlist. Yeah, there'd be music playing. I remember I had like cool wallpapers and your top friends.
Yep.
Like, who's going to be my top friend this week? You know.
Man, I guess that was really the beginning.
See, like I remember when I was actually in vet school, and you had to be like you had to have a .edu or whatever. And I was like, what is this thing? And they're like, oh, you've never heard of it? I signed up. And then after a couple of years, I realized like how much creeping you could do on people. And like I was doing that and I was like, all right, I'm deleting this. like people could do this to me. And I'd just be like, yeah. We technically have a farm Facebook, but it's like through my wife's account. Like she has to tell me like once every couple of weeks, she'd be like, somebody's messaged you. You need to get on there and answer it. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll get on there and try to reply to them. But
I'm bad at that too. I don't always check my DMs on stuff. A lot of stuff goes to like there's like the 2-3 different sections on Instagram, and sometimes I don't ever look because I've got a bunch of spam on there. So I don't check it.
The spam
is the worst.
Yeah. Which is good about it, like flags it as spam.
To the hidden request.
Hidden request.
A bunch of those. So what do you see coming next down the pipeline for y'all? What do you think? What is actually before that? What does your wife think about if you were to go full time with this? Is she like gung ho for it, or is she hesitant? What's her thoughts?
Man, that's a good question. It kind of depends on the day.
That's women for you. No matter what the subject.
Yeah. But I mean, she sees what we're doing, but we got to make it financially affordable because UPS pays pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a good job, man. That's why I wondered. It would have to do pretty well for me to walk away from that.
Yeah,
well, and I don't know. Like I'm nowhere near generating the kind of income to quit my day job or anything. But like the YouTube stuff even kind of scares me because that's the only thing I guess I've really got monetized. Because like you say something they don't like, they could jerk it away from you in a heartbeat. And so it's and my wife and I have had this conversation. Like if all of a sudden we had 1 million subscribers and we were generating like big time money, like some of these farm channels are. I mean, they really are. Some of them. Like, I mean, that'd be a good problem to have, but I don't even know what I would do to try to hedge and like be sure that I'd protected myself from, that just being gone in the blink of an eye.
Well, and I think it's good. What do y'all kind of see in that direction? Like with the TikTok scenario, I mean, is that this push to the beef and stuff like that? Is that why y'all are kind of moving in that direction?
Well, I mean, we started that long before there was even talk about the TikTok ban or anything. Yep. He's always wanted to do that as kind of like a way to keep his family legacy going with the ranch and everything.
Yeah.
And a way to help fund ourselves. Because like I said, we could have had a lot more sponsors if we would shut up on some topics, but we're not willing to do that. We're
then you'd lose part of your audience,
Exactly. Yeah. but we want to keep doing what we're doing and hopefully be able to scale it up more.
Yeah.
Say my like long term goal is I'm kind of like you. I would really like to get into films.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
write. I want to come up with. I've got all these stories and stuff. I don't ever have time to do anything to
Yeah.
expand on them or anything because I'm driving a truck all day and I get home and I got to be dad. And then on
Oh
weekends,
yeah.
I go be Gate Bart. So I got a lot on my plate right now. So I
Yeah.
don't have much time to really dig into any ideas. But that's what I would like to do in the long run. And I think we're going to get there. It's just in God's time, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is that, I'm curious too on the film, is that, do you want to stay in the ag sector or would you want to branch out into just like all sorts of film?
I'd like to do all sorts of films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's,
I like the ag stuff. My favorite part about the whole ag community and everything is the people.
yeah.
The people are just good, down to earth people, God fearing people. And the one thing that I don't like about the ag sector is it's still trying to catch up on all this social media stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of the companies that advertise in the ag sector, they don't quite get this upcoming generation, the TikTok generation, these kids and stuff. These are the next generation of people that are going to be in ag and in farming
Yeah.
and stuff. And a lot of these big corporations and stuff, I don't know if they don't see it or if they just don't want to invest in it yet or what it is. But that's one thing that we've had kind of trouble with. And so a lot of sponsorships we've done aren't even like, we have done stuff ag related, but not always ag related.
Well, I think part of that is something we've talked about on here a lot, and I don't think it's much different even in the media side with ag is, man, that the average age of a farmer is 60,
Yeah.
60 years old. And so, the new, like the next blind, the new blood of ag, I mean, I think a lot of these big companies, I mean, one of my gripes with John Deere, we just talked about this on the last episode, their newest tractor that they unveiled, it's bad to the bone, the 9RX, freaking 900
Oh,
horsepower or
is that the
something.
one with the tracks?
Yes. It's like a
Yeah, I keep
million,
seeing that.
1.3 million. It's $1,500 per horsepower is how they figure it up. And dude, I mean, like we were talking with our guest last week and it's like a normal farmer can't afford that. Like I can't
Heck
afford it.
no.
I can't afford any new piece of equipment that John Deere puts out. Like, and I feel like they really don't care. And it's not just John Deere. I'm not harping on them. I mean, I love my green stuff. That's what I run.
Well, they're
Yeah.
just the biggest,
They're
so
the
yeah.
Yeah,
big,
we like to poke at them too, but I mean, that's most of the stuff that's on the farm is
yeah,
John Deere, but we like to poke at them. I was at John Deere Tech the other day. I don't know if y'all saw that one.
yep, yep.
The
Well, that,
tranny went out in the tractor.
Well, but yeah, the whole thing. They're, are they
I don't think they care.
right?
Yeah, who are
I
they
think.
selling that to?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I think if you ask them, if we fast forward 50 years, you know, would it hurt their feelings if all of a sudden everything was big corporate ag?
No.
And I even hate just like corporate because but yeah, just huge where it's all these just huge big time operators and the little guys are gone. I don't think they would care
no,
at all
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't either.
because again, they're wanting to sell new equipment.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not
not
worried
going to
about the
affect their
guy that
bottom
buys it
line.
when
Yeah,
it's 15, 20 years old when most of us can afford it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And yeah, they can, this, we've got, I don't know what share of the market they have right now, but yeah, we got 70% of these corporate accounts signed up. They're going to be running green equipment. Our job's
Yeah.
easy now. And they're just making it bigger and bigger and bigger where, yeah, it's where little guy, I mean, gosh, stuff is absolutely worn out to a lot of people before we can afford it. And
oh, that's what I've said about a combine. Like my next combine, I've got a good one right now. When it comes time to buy my next one, I'd hate to know how many hours it'll have to have on it before I can afford it.
Where you can
It will be
afford it.
wore out. It'll be wore out before I can afford the thing.
yeah,
Yep.
And I don't think they care. And that's kind of my thing with the marketing stuff. Honestly, I don't think they care.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they've already got what they want solidified, like you were saying. They've got
Yeah,
the corporate accounts and stuff, and so they're just happy with that, and that's going to pay their bills into the future. What they
yeah.
look like. So, if the little guy falls under, he falls under.
The guys around here that buy the brand new stuff, most of them are big farmers. They're working a bunch of ground. I mean, and one of them that I can think of in particular that I've harped on here a lot, he works a bunch of ground. He has a bunch of brand new John Deere equipment, and he's 70 years old. You know what I mean? So they're not, that they ain't trying to reach him through, social media or these kind of things. I mean, one, they already got him.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, we ain't worried about that.
Yeah, but a lot of that's going to change hands in this next,
10 years, I feel like.
Yep.
Yeah. But we've already talked about our mortality. So
yeah, Bobby Lee's already.
I'm not gonna turn it dark again.
Yeah.
Start playing Dust in the Wind again.
Yeah. I can hear it creeping up in the background. Yeah. But man, I don't know. I do think that but what we've talked about, like with sponsors, I feel like y'all are in the same situation. You got to go after certain types of sponsors because, a John Deere or some of these big ones, they're not going to really want a guy that's saying something that's controversial because they're a huge
Oh, yeah. Well, the
corporation.
last thing they want is somebody that's endorsing them, creating any sort of a headache for them. Now, they want you to be very a big group like that needs you to be very vanilla.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's why I say I think y'all are in the same boat like we are, where you got to choose wisely who you link up with, and kind of maybe if you have to create your own, like you said with the beef thing. I mean, all that. I really think that a lot of that is the future.
Yeah, like you said earlier, people want to know where their food comes from.
Yep.
And that's a big push of what we're doing. If it's healthy stuff, you don't have to worry about there being anything added to it. You know where it came from.
What's your favorite genre of film?
I'm a big comedy guy. Yeah, I like to laugh.
I get it, man. What's your all right? I can't say favorite because that's like the hardest question in the world. When someone's like, "Man, what's your favorite film?" What is? Give me one of your top 5 comedies.
Step Brothers.
Okay,
I like Step Brothers.
That is
Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, like any of those movies that they were making in the 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you're right there. Yeah. I'm 10 years older than you, but no, this is perfect.
I was watching Waterboy last night.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yep. That is a classic.
I feel really old at work because, again, at the vet clinic, we got, a lot of mostly young ladies that are like, I'm old enough to be their dad, basically, and, they're 18 to 25.
Yeah.
Like I'll reference a movie.
25.
Nothing.
Man, you're starting early.
And, and we'll look it up and I'll be like, yeah, that movie came out. I was like, that movie's not that old. And they're like, well, it came out in 2002. And they're like, yeah, I wasn't born.
Oh,
like,
that would be weird.
22 years ago.
Oh, God, Lee. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, Lord, yeah.
It still sounds unreal to me to think like when someone's born, when I'll actually see the little sign when you go in a gas station, it'll have the little like can't buy alcohol, and it's like 2000 and something. I'm like, whoa,
2003 now.
Yeah,
2003.
That sounds crazy as heck, man. What the heck?
Yeah. I still think 20 years ago was the 80s.
I do too.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't feel like it was the 2000s.
Well, you see like those little memes. It's like there's one about Dazed and Confused. And it's like it came out in like the early 90s. It was
one movie is just as old. Like
it was set in like the 70s. It's like it'd be like a movie released today would be set in like 05.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? 05 was like last year.
That's how I feel.
I
like
heard
if
somebody talking about that, about how there was like a distinct culture in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then the 2000s. We've just been kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Yeah, because it just does seem like
it's been kind of the same.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a weird thing where they're trying to find that culture. Like, a lot of the kids started rocking mullets again. And like, so I'm like, what's going on? Like my nephew, he had a mullet for a little while and I made fun of him. Like I'd call him Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down.
Yeah. I was like, what's up, Kenny? Which he had no clue who I was talking about.
Yeah. But it's probably good that he doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's very true. But
Depends on how old he is.
yeah, he's not nowhere near old enough for
Okay,
that yet.
one day, show him who Kenny Powers is.
Yes. Well, I think I showed him. My favorite is still like just the little meme of the kid shooting the like machine gun, and he's like, doing that thing on the kid shooting. That is a classic. Which quoted about Will Ferrell talking about how he learned about lovemaking by Kenny Powers and him.
Yeah.
Let the boy watch.
Yeah, I forget Will Ferrell's even in that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like the car dealer
Oh yeah,
guy or whatever.
I've only watched like 3 or 4 episodes, but yeah.
Oh man, it's a trip. It is a trip. Well, then dude, I think I tried a little writing. That was one of the things I wrote. I wrote 3 screenplays. Never sold them. They're probably terrible, but the fact that I wrote, they're feature length, and that was like such a thing. And I was actually a machinist whenever I machined for a couple years before I came back to farming. And unlike one good thing you got, it sounds like you don't hate your job. I hated my job. And so, dude, I'd get up really early before I'd go to work, and I would write before I'd go to work because I just needed that. Like, I needed that
like an outlet.
Yeah. And so I would write, and man, just writing that was all like felt so good. So, dude, I'm like, I urge you, man, like just carve out a little time because, man, I think you would surprise yourself on like what you could get out, even in a little bit of time.
I've started a little bit, but it's been probably over a year. I'll say my subscription to Microsoft Word has expired since then.
Really? Yeah. Well, man, I hope to see a comedy, a big screen from you sometime.
Oh, that'd be great. One day it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I'm a guy that say the ship has never sailed. What Clint Eastwood was like 40 or something when he kind of finally hit it big.
Yeah.
So, man, it's never too late, man. I think maybe bringing Hollywood to the farm, man, kind of breaking up the things a little bit. It's good.
I'd like to get behind the camera. I'd like to get behind the camera at some point.
Yeah.
I don't mind the acting stuff, but I'd like to get behind the camera eventually.
No, but like you could do the whole Taylor Sheridan thing. You like just get little cameo appearances.
Yep.
You're making all the money on the producing side, but yeah, stick yourself in there.
Exactly.
Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
No.
He was in that.
Really?
He played
Did he write on that one at all? Or?
I don't think so. That was Kurt Sutter. But Taylor was he played like this stupid little cop.
Yeah.
I think he gets blown to pieces by like an Uzi, don't he? Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah, well, I just gave a big spoiler.
It's too violent for me.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of cartoons these days. That's about all I get to watch anymore.
Paw Patrol at my house.
Bluey.
Yeah.
Freaking Bluey, man.
See, they come and go so fast. Like my kids are just old enough that I guess Bluey was just. We get Stinky and Dirty. You have Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Stinky and Dirty.
Oh, dude, heard of that one.
It's like a little backhoe and a garbage truck. They're like one's named Stinky, one's named Dirty. Like it's like anybody could write this crap. Like you could see plots. Like they're always doing a good deed, like in their little town.
You know what? When I'm on dad duty and I got the kids, if we watch something, I turn on because I have what's the thing? Boomerang on Prime, and I'll turn on like old Scooby Doo, or even I mean, look, it's probably inappropriate sometimes, but I turn on some Ren and Stimpy. I was a big Ren and Stimpy fan. I mean, it's a really gross show. Now that I watch it as an adult, I'm like, man, this show was gross. But my kids love it, and there is some like adult humor in there that I'm like, I did not pick up on that when I was watching that.
Yeah, I always try to think of old movies that like I watched like as a kid that like I would like to watch again, but are still kid appropriate.
Yeah,
and I'm like
the Terminator.
Maybe not quite. We watched Lonesome Dove not too long ago.
There you go.
Like, they talk about whores an awful lot, but other than that, like, there's a little violence, like people die.
Was Willis like, it's a whore?
That never came up. But, like the whole, maybe episode 1 where it ends with the snake attack in the river.
Yeah.
They were like, oh my God. And I was like, was like, all right, yeah, that's about as violent as it gets, thankfully. I mean, not entirely, but
I
people
let
get
my
shot.
kids watch Braveheart. That one was pretty out there.
You know,
I had to cover their eyes on the boob scene, when he gets cracking out there. But
there you go.
so what, man, what you got? Is there anything? I'm wondering, like, have y'all planned anything wild for the election? I feel like y'all could do some pretty wild stuff with this.
Well, I was thinking the other day. So I think last year, Babylon Bee. Y'all ever seen any of their
Yep.
stuff?
Oh yeah.
I think it was them. They did a skit where it's this couple and they're going to their grandpa and they're like, "Grandpa, it's just you've really come over the hill, and we just think it's time. You think they're going to put him in like a nursing home?
They
And they're
wanted
like,
to
we
run
think it's
for office.
it's time for you to run for office." And
Yes.
I was thinking, man, we should do that with Granny.
That would. Does she have a lot of? Does she do much like input? Does she have a lot of input and stuff, or is she kind of just like y'all
She
tell me
says,
whatever?
I just say what y'all tell me to say.
Yeah.
She's really good, like in person, and just
Yeah.
talking to people and stuff. But you put her in front of the camera, and we gotta feed her the lines.
Yeah. No, she does awesome.
She is hilarious, man.
Yeah, she's the star. That's definitely.
Yeah,
true.
her she has like that. You know what she actually reminds me of with her sass is like the grandma on Beverly Hillbillies. Did y'all
Oh
ever watch
yeah.
that? She was like so sassy, and she'd like pull a shotgun on a guy, and that I'm like, she has that vibe.
She just gets her hot shot.
Yes.
Yeah, she does. But
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I think that's awesome. I guess before we get to the end here, you got anything else?
man, I guess we need to mention agzaga.com.
We got to mention him, but we got to queue up our commander in chief.
Well, yeah, we'll get to him. So he can wait. But yeah, y'all remember to go to agzaga.com. Discount code Talk Dirt. All the stuff. Again, the BailNet wrap, because that is kind of their bread and butter. Check them out. If you're going to have hay to bale this year, you're going to need some more net wrap. Might as well go online, get it shipped right to your door. 10% off using the code Talk Dirt. The custom made, water hoses, the Flexzilla hoses, the Ferropees. I don't know, you name it. The hay rake wheels, whatever.
Yep.
If you think you need it, or if you're getting a pinch and you do need it, check them out. And yeah, use that code.
All right, now you queuing him up.
I'll find him here somewhere.
And now, before you do, we'll put you on the spot, man. One of the things we like to do at the end is our American made thing. Can you think of a product on the spot that's made in the USA that you really like a lot? You would put your stamp of approval on?
Here,
Can I
while
plug
you
our
think
own
about
beef
it,
again?
You can, but listen, let our man talk.
With 2 words. Made in America.
Made in America, 2 words, man. We love them. We
just
love to hear
just
'em.
2 words.
What?
Here.
I
Get your Didier
There you go.
Ranch beef.
doesn't get much more American made than that.
Dude, I was going to say, I'm not only American made, but we're also, man, if we can support our values as well as being American made, that's even better. And that's exactly our values as well.
Well, if somebody wants to buy a Didier Ranch beef, how do they go about doing that?
It's DidierRanchBeef.com or DidierRanch.com.
There
That's
you go.
it. Yeah, and then we've got all different kinds of boxes on there. You can get just ground beef. You can get the burger patties already made. You can get our steak boxes. There's different ones you can pick from.
Jarrett will hand deliver them. He will actually hand deliver them to you.
If you're in the Western
what's
Oklahoma
funny?
area,
I haven't delivered one yet.
Oh, man.
Somebody out here needs to order one.
They do. That's what you need. Like, how awesome would that be to actually have Gate Bart bring you your Didier Ranch beef? That would. I don't think it could get any better.
You got to get that box autographed.
I was going to say, you got to autograph that one. Yeah, for sure.
Well, so the Didier Ranch, is that where you can also find your apparel?
Go to GatlinDidier.com for the apparel, for all of our hats, our shirts, hoodies, all that, all Granny stickers, everything. We've got coffee mugs. Granny's got coffee as well.
All right.
She sells coffee.
I've seen, which I know because, of course, I followed y'all for a while, but you got the links, through all your bios. But where can you follow all of you online?
Yeah.
I'm Gate Bart on Instagram and Jarrett Sitton on TikTok, and then Granny Bibbins on Instagram and TikTok, and then Gatlin Didier on everything else: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to follow, we've got a couple different accounts. You can follow us everywhere, and we pretty much post a lot of the same stuff on different platforms.
Yep.
We just kind of spread it out because you
Gotcha.
never know.
No, you don't. You don't. I want to ask you real quick on your apparel. Explain the Rebel and the design there.
Oh yeah, the Bar X is it's Gatlin. It's their family. It's their brand that they've
Gotcha.
been using, and so that's where he got the Bar X from. And we have it on our hats, and we've had it on pretty much everything I think since we've started.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's pretty awesome. Man, I've always I miss when we used to brand.
Yeah.
Used to brand some cattle out
Smells
here.
great.
It is, dude.
Yeah.
It's just cool, man. It's just we
Yeah.
hadn't done that in years.
We hadn't hot branded anything, and yeah, gosh,
20 years at least.
gosh,
Really?
it may be closer to. Well,
I'd
if you remember, I was about to say it may be closer to 30, but you wouldn't remember.
No, my memory ain't that good. But yeah, 20, maybe 25.
Yeah.
Big Bub would be out here. I remember he loved the smell. When they'd brand them, he'd say, "Man, it smells like steak cooking."
Smells like singed hair to me.
Yeah, it smells like burning hair.
I can still smell it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, you say it triggers something up there.
that's right. Well, yeah, man. Well, dude, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me. This has been a lot of fun.
It is. We'll have to get you. Maybe you ever find your way down to West Tennessee. Have to have you on the show in studio.
I've been to West Tennessee once, I think for the Wilson County Fair or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's about the only time I've been to Tennessee though. But
A lot
I'll
of
have to
people
come up
try
that
to-
way sometime.
Some people try to avoid Memphis for some reason. I don't really know why.
I was there today.
I don't blame them.
Yeah. No. Hey, I don't either. I'm 20 miles or so outside of it, and I do my best to stay about that far
I
out.
had to venture all the way to Mississippi today.
For what?
I had an appointment, and
Wow.
and we were just barely across straight. But yeah, that meant I had to go straight through Memphis, there and back. So yeah.
Well, man, I'll put a link in the description for everybody to find where y'all are at and order them some beef. And if we have any Oklahoma listeners, we urge you to order some because we want Gate Bart to hand deliver you some
Yep.
Didier beef, man. I mean, that's just it.
Well,
Get
I'll take a picture with you too.
yeah.
And of course, like I said, I've got my own beef we're about to kill, but I'm gonna go check out the apparel. Yeah,
Yep.
we're in the our high school. We're the Rebels, so I mean that's still our
perfect.
mascot.
There you
They
go.
that they canceled Colonel Reb, but we're still the Rebels.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
we still hold on to something at least.
that's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
We can
right.
go get you some Rebel apparel and fit right in.
No,
Yeah.
no, hey, and yeah, supporting, like you said, people that share our same values and within our industry.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah, well, we
Awesome,
appreciate
man.
it, fellas.
Yeah, man. Well, we thank you. And guys, everybody tuning in, we ask that you do the thing, leave us a rating and a review, hit that like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. And we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, we'll be right back here next week.
See y'all.